Firas Pasha, welcome. How are you?
Very good.
Long time no see.
It's been ages.
It's been ages, huh?
Very long time.
Very long time.
So
miss you. Miss your visit. Bu haftaki sohbetimizi İngiltere'den özel olarak Türkiye'ye gelmiş gerçekten çok özel bir kişiyle yapacağız. Firas Chamsi Pasha dünyanın en iyi ve en eski bildiğimiz anlamda yani sanayi üretimi anlamında en eski kumaş üreticisi Moxon firmasının sahibi. Moxon son derece özel bir kumaş kalitesi. Mağazalarda satılmıyor. Dünyada sadece seçilmiş belirli kalibre ve işçilikte sartoryal üretim yapan kurumlara veriyor. Ben kendisiyle tanışmadan önce firma hakkında yani kumaşın kalitesi ve kendi karakteri, kendi yapısı hakkında çok bilgi edinmiştim. Ve bana şöyle dediler, yani çok snob birisidir, kimseye kumaş vermez. Bu değerlendirme aşağı yukarı bundan 24-25 sene önce gerçekleşmiş bir değerlendirme ve bu 25 sene içinde aslında hem kendi kumaşıyla hem de bizim kendi alanımızla, branşımızla ilgili bir tarihçe aslında bıraktık arkamızda. Şimdi sevgili Firas Chamsi Pasha ile bugünkü sohbetimize başlıyoruz. Firas, welcome to Istanbul again.
Thank you. It's so nice to be back. I haven't been here for quite a long time now.
It's been quite a long time now. You have been coming for such a long time.
Yeah, and I got so addicted to Istanbul, and then suddenly COVID came, and we couldn't come anymore.
Yeah.
So I am extremely happy to be back.
You like coming back. You like coming back to Istanbul.
I love it.
Yeah, I made an introduction about our cooperation, about Moxon, how special the Moxon fabric is for the world. It is, I sometimes call it the Rolls Royce of fabric, and you tell me you are insulting me.
Yes. Because we have much smaller production than Rolls Royce.
Much smaller production, much more smaller production than Rolls Royce fabrics factory. Can you tell me what makes Moxon so special?
I think it's the ethos that we have, that we are not creating cloth, we are creating masterpieces with every single meter that we produce. Moxon is not a factory in the known sense. It's more like an artisanal shop or a factory that's been converted into a small workshop.
Yeah.
We do not care about the quantities, but rather what we really insist on is how good every single centimeter that we produce.
Yeah.
It's got to be the top.
It's like producing a very high quality wine. Even more work is involved.
It's more, although there are some similarities. For example, we have to be very careful in what fibers we choose to put into the fabric.
So it starts with the fiber.
Starts with the fiber, onto the yarn, and then onto the weaving of the cloth, and then onto the finishing. In a modern factory, it takes 7 hours to finish a cloth, whereas in Moxon it takes 14 days. And then after the 14 days, we also age the cloth in proper conditions.
And that makes the best.
And that makes it the best because fabric. Remember, as I've said this before to you, wool comes from a living sheep. Mm-hmm. And therefore, you have to treat it as such. You cannot treat it as a commodity. You have to give it all the love and care, and you have to give it time to relax.
Once you told me, with what I throw to trash, other top manufacturers make fabric
Absolutely.
from.
Absolutely, because we're very particular in what we choose. When we buy the fibers of the back of the sheep, or is it if it's Altai cashmere or even silks or any material that we use, it's got to be the top in its game.
It's got to be top. Well, I mean, understandably, when I look at the history of Moxon, I see a lot of kings and statesmen and politicians and top of the top business people in the world.
Well, Moxon was established as a family business in 1556.
1556.
So that is 2 years before Queen Elizabeth I became the ruler in England.
So it's before Queen Elizabeth.
2 years before.
2 years before.
And they've been producing, and now we're producing as part of the legacy to the top people in the world. And we are very choosy in who we sell to.
You are very true. I know this.
Not anybody can come and buy, even if they have the money. It's got to be.
Yeah, I know this very well because before I was dying to make clothes, to make collections from Moxon fabric, and I was always told, no chance. You are not gonna get any fabrics from him. He is very choosy. He is very picky. You won't be able to do. Do you remember our first meeting?
I remember our first meeting in Paris.
We met first in Paris.
In Paris.
Yeah.
And then we met in Istanbul, and then in England,
yeah.
And we've met in Italy and so many other places.
Exactly.
But I also remember visiting some of my customers with you, who were designers and tailors in their own right. And after they've seen what I was wearing, they wanted to have their own garments made by you.
You mean the designers?
Yes. Yeah, that says a lot.
That's a great honor to hear. You know, having known what kind of people you have been supplying fabrics to, I really feel very, very honored and excited of our cooperation.
In the old days, Moxon used to sell to the tailors in every corner of the world. And I had access to have my garments made by them. And after research and after trying so many suits, I reached the conclusion that your place is where I get the top service, because you do not use paper to cut my pattern. You actually make the suit on my body.
Exactly. We don't use existing patterns to cut. We just make it for your body.
So this is what I call real bespoke, because it's actually made to fit the body contours perfectly.
Yeah.
And it takes so many hours. I think you spend about 100 hours on making,
almost 97 hours
on making my garments. But a suit is something you live in.
Exactly.
For most of the day, so it's got to be very, very important.
Exactly. We will proceed with our lovely chat. In the meantime, I think you must have missed your Turkish coffee, and
Absolutely.
I'm going to get you some Turkish
coffee. Nothing beats Turkish coffee.
Okay, let's have some coffee.
Okay.
In the meantime.
Thank you.
Firas, supplying all the best tailors, only the best in the world, I really feel very honored that you are coming all the way to Istanbul to have your suits made by us. And this is a very big inspiration for us as well. And I always recall the days people will tell me, forget about Moxon, you will never be able to get the fabrics. And it's been now almost 26 years that we have been cooperating. And as I look back, I see so many customers, so many people who only want to have their suits made by Moxon fabric.
It's an addiction. You get addicted to it.
Yeah.
I remember when I took over running of Moxon, my family delegated me to run that business. I had to change my whole wardrobe, and that was an expensive investment. But once you wear the Moxon cloth, you cannot touch anything else.
Yeah, how do you rate it? I mean, well, Moxon is here.
Moxon is number 1. The next one would be number 50.
Moxon is number 1, and next one will be number 50. Yeah, actually, there are some very famous international fabric brands, and people come us asking those brands, and we tell them, well, this is an average. This is a good, but this is an average fabric. Why don't you have a look at Moxon? When you touch Moxon, when you have a suit made by Moxon, they really forget about the rest.
What's funny is that some of the owners of those cloth brands actually come to me for their person.
Oh my God.
But it's a different world. But the world has changed because the suit today is not what it used to be.
Yeah.
People now do not wear suits as much as they did. Even in banks, I was surprised to see that they actually ban their junior employees from wearing a tie, for example, or a pinstripe. That's left for... Yeah, that's left for more senior people. That's the last 3 years.
Last 3 years?
With people working from home, the suit has not evolved as such, and it remained where it is. And now only connoisseurs are the ones actually, making suits and wearing them. And we have very loyal customers who are actually collectors. It's
collecting the fabrics.
Collecting the fabrics as a collection.
As a collection.
Because it's something they treasure. And we've seen it over the years many, many times. Suits are passed down, or jackets or overcoats are passed down from one generation to another. Yeah. And then they are altered, and they... Some of the wristwatch brands. I suppose so, although with the wristwatch brand, with the watch, it's not that difficult to pass it on. Whereas the suit, there's a fit, and the bodies are never the same. So it takes master tailors to be able to...
Yeah, that's why you are so picky with your tailors, right?
Yes, yes.
You don't supply to high street stores. You don't supply to...
No, we don't supply to designers. We don't supply to... not anymore. No more designers. Tailors, very, very few. Now, the majority of our customers, and they are few anyway because we operate the business as a club. You have to be a member before you can actually buy the cloth, and the membership is closed. And every 2 years we check the list, and the one at the bottom of the list is kicked out, and we take a new member to keep it evolving. But with the membership, it's more like a hobby than a real business.
And every time I order fabrics from you, you want to know who the customer is. You don't want wrong people to wear Moxon.
No, you don't want it ending up in the wrong hands.
Right. And at one point, I think you were giving party in one of the top clubs in New York to gather your international customers.
Yes.
That was many years ago. But it was so club. It was, the atmosphere was so clubby, so restricted, and so elite.
Well, the English invented the concept of a club.
Exactly.
Everything is institutionalized as a club in England.
Exactly.
Restaurants, social clubs.
Yeah. And clubs normally don't name members' names.
Exactly.
But do you mind?
No.
Me asking you some of the top historical, at least. Well, not maybe public figures of today.
Their grandchildren might be complaining. But I can...
Can you give me some names of...
No, I can tell you comfortably that we've had many royal families.
Royal families?
Kings.
Still?
Still we do, but over the years we've had emperors, kings, very, very important personalities, that even movie stars that have been Moxon customers.
Yeah.
And the trend continues.
Yeah. I know with the club philosophy, it is not welcome to give names. I know you are very also restrictive about this, but for our viewers, I would very much appreciate if you could tell us, if you could name some prominent names from history or from today.
Again, I have to apologize, but I won't name names, although in some cases the people themselves either talk about it or the media finds out and so on. But I can tell you that we've had a lot of royal families, emperors, kings, princes, men of industry,
film stars, maybe.
Film stars, movie stars over the years. And that tradition has continued. Even their grandchildren inherit the garments, and in some cases they are adjusted to fit the people who inherited, because it's such an expensive item to inherit. They don't want to waste it.
Firas, in most cases, one Moxon suit costs more than a car. What really makes it so special, so daring?
Okay. Number one is the raw material itself, because we go to the far corners of the world to pick up materials that are not available to the public. For example, over the years we've had, and that was before my time, we've inherited exclusivity arrangements with farmers and growers and sometimes even nomads, supplying the best raw materials in their particular area.
The
raw material is the first. Then after we buy the raw material, we do the sorting, and the sorting is to pick up fibers of the same length, of the same diameter, and you're talking in micron terms.
So it's a very restricted, very limited amount of
very limited. And add to that we take our time in manufacturing it, because we're using old machinery.
You don't use industrial production?
No.
It's all handmade?
It's when you say handmade, you still have to use a loom to weave it, but it's hand finished using old wooden machines and natural water. The water that we have from our own Moxon lake is pure and very good for washing the wool and the cashmere. So it's a whole process, but at the end of the day, it's all about our ethos, that we want to produce things with love and with care, and it doesn't matter how long it takes or how much it costs. Money is not the object.
Not the issue.
No, it's not the issue.
Okay, so you just use the most efficient and most valuable production methods. You use the best fabric, best material.
If anything, I would say efficient is the wrong word, because we're not efficient.
You are not efficient?
No. If anything, sometimes we use very inefficient methods to come up with a good quality.
Okay.
And that,
so you don't rationalize production?
No. That in itself is our biggest protection from anybody trying to imitate Moxon, because we do things in such a complicated way that it makes it uneconomic
you
or
don't
sometimes
care about
crazy.
The cost.
No.
You just want the best.
No, because we're at a level where cost is not really the issue. It's what can you produce and how special can you make it.
That's the issue.
That's the issue, and you have to be different.
You have to be different, and your patterns are also historical. I really feel so excited having seen your archives.
Yes, we have a library.
Archives for 500-600 years.
Yes, and we have loads of volumes of cloth encyclopedias that have been collected over the years. But equally, I will tell you, for example, in the dyeing of the wool, I still employ a very old man who's more like a magician when he comes to dyeing the wools. And his techniques, again, are so convoluted and so complicated that sometimes he would throw in a color to give it that unusual feel to it. For example, our blues are famous for being completely different than any other blue in the market.
Before we move to our fabrics, I would like to ask you a final question. Where would you like to see Moxon in 500 years' time?
Probably exactly where it is now. No change.
No change.
No change.
No change. Yeah. Well, in a world where everything is changing almost daily, it is so exciting to see establishments like Moxon, which has not changed in the last 500 or 600 years. Thank you very much. Now I'll analyze with you the fabrics that you have sent me. I'm really very excited to touch them, to feel them, and to work on them with you. So we will move to look at the fabrics.
All right.
Firas, when I was in England, we went through the archives.
Yes.
And I have chosen a pattern from 1890s. Shall we reproduce that?
I think that would be a very, very good idea.
Yeah. It was a very, very impressive pattern, and I haven't seen anything like that in the last, I don't know, X years. I'm very frequently confronted with the question, he is making the best fabric in the world. He produces the best fabric in the world. It's the most expensive fabric in the world. And you are in England. England is known to be the mecca of tailoring, bespoke tailoring. And you have a lot of top tailors worldwide in United States, in Italy. The question is, what makes you come here to have your suits made, to have your collections made?
It's a simple answer. The best tailor in the world would spend maximum 65 hours in making a garment. When I come here and we work together, your people would spend about 130, 135 hours making that garment. So surely the amount of handwork that goes into your garments is almost double what other people do.
So that is a...
that's the main reason. That's the main reason. The quality I get here, I have not seen anywhere else in the world. And I've seen a lot of places.
You have seen a lot of places. Thank you very much. Well, I would also like to mention that your fitting is ready, your cut is ready, and we can proceed with the fitting. And I would like to ask you a few more questions. Is there any change you want to make with your new collection, or are we going to continue as we have been doing for the last 25 years?
We will continue the same way. And I think I'm late for my fitting. I'm about 3 years late.
You are about three years late for your fitting, yes.
For my first fitting.
For your first fitting. Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so we can move to our fitting.
Let's go. Might as well fix it perfectly.
He might, yeah. He's now quite trained, and he knows what you like, what you don't, what you dislike. This is also a very, very special fabric.
We broke a record when we made this fabric. It is the lightest weight all wool cloth in the whole world. Never.
This is the lightest weight.
Lightest weight. It was never possible before the new technology of spinning to make the fibers spun into the spine.
Okay.
But it's the fine micron.
Fine micron.
With the fine diameter that was used and enabled us to make it. And then obviously when we were weaving it, we had to do it very, very slowly, otherwise everything would break.
Yeah. So it's a very delicate process.
It is. It's almost as light as a shirt.
Almost as light as a shirt. Yeah. I can tell it's such a feeling. Unbelievable.
And in summer it keeps you cool, and in winter it keeps you warm.
I've seen a white one that you have recently shown.
That's correct.
It's unbelievable. The feeling is incredible. And you are one lucky man.
To have found you.
To have found me. Thank you. Me, to have found you. So you make the best fabric, and I try to make the best.
I could never find a tailor who would achieve what I want in a garment had it not been for you.
Thank you, thank you. I'm also trying to combine classical tailoring, traditional tailoring with modernism. That's also very...
Again, that is something you have been able to achieve. Many people have not been able to achieve.
Yeah.
You were very moderate in the way you did it. You gave it that new silhouette without really taking away the basic aesthetics of the garment. You see designers making all sorts of crazy designs that are not really fit except for a runway. Yeah. Whereas yours has got that modern feel to it, and yet it's something that you can wear on the street.
It's wearable yet with a certain touch, with a
That's
certain
correct.
fit.
That's
yeah,
correct.
that's what my philosophy is actually.
That's
and
correct.
Thanks for appreciating this. Firas, thank you very much for the visit, for everything,
you.
for the inspiration.
Thanks.
My pleasure.